Then came puberty. Puberty was a shocker to me because once puberty came, for me, the biggest growth difference during puberty were my hips. I've got very wide they used to call them childbearing hips. And then I think fast forward then to the now, to the present, to the woman that I am today. And currently, actually, what I'm going through is that I've gained weight. And to be honest with you, it takes me back when I was, going through puberty and feeling like I can't be masculine and curvy at the same time. I have to be. What is Gucci Kani Eaters? My name is Push, aka the Creative Queer, the masculine, cotton eating queen, kumganigazi, a drip magazi with it, a captain of cool, a grill god. And welcome back to yet another video. Another week, another video. Happy Pride Month. This is my first video for 2025 Pride Month. And yeah, man, how do I feel this Pride Month? In fact, I was actually reflecting on get on to pride. What does that actually mean? What am I really proud of in my years of being queer? Because I guess the essence of pride and being proud is to not be ashamed of who you are, not to be to not be ashamed of who you love and how you love. And I guess that is what pride really is about. And I was actually watching maybe let me leave that for later. Let me first get into some general queer news topics, because sometimes when I come on here, sometimes I feel like I'm getting straight to the topic too soon. So I do want to start off with some general queer news. Number one, I heard K1 is coming out with a new EP on the 20th of June. If you don't know who K1 is, her name is spelled KWN, but pronounced K1. She's a masculine presenting R&B artist all the way from the UK. I first discovered her on TikTok. There was a song that was trending at the time, which was Worst Behavior. And that was before Kehlani. So I knew her before the Kehlani era. Before the Kehlani era, then she did a feature with Kehlani that blew up. Only to discover that she had featured Kehlani actually before. So maybe Ndimo Rongo, and I discovered her a bit late. She has a couple of songs with Kehlani. She has a beautiful, sexy ass motherfucker song called what's the name of the song? It's called Clothes Off. If it's not called Clothes. But the other song that I love is Worst Behavior. I like Worst Behavior without Kehlani. That's my my unpopular opinion. I don't like the version she did with Kehlani. I like her on Clothes Off with Kehlani, but Worst Behavior, I like Worst Behavior without Kehlani. And then she did a new song called Do What I Say that I absolutely love, and I've been jamming to. That's like a cool vibe. I even want to put it on my playlist. I'm probably gonna do like a nice playlist with that song. I enjoy it so much. So now she's coming out with a new EP, so do check that out if you're into queer music like that. Personally, for me, I love queer music. I love not having to worry about fixing the pronouns, or there's just this different vibe that queer artists have when they're singing about women in music. Like, it's just a different je ne sais quoi, that is just, there's just something about the way that they speak about women that, number one, is relatable. Number two, it's just different from how a man describes especially a sexual encounter with a woman, and also just love in general. So I'm excited to see what K1 is, and what a beautiful time to be a masculine presenting woman. Like, for me, I'm excited to see her explore the R&B genre, because I know it's explored a lot by a lot of feminine presenting a woman. Abo Summer Walker, Abo Coco Jones, Yabona. It's all these feminine presenting women. So I like her in that space. I'm excited to hear her talk about feelings, because R&B most is it's an emotive, genre. um, and just that juxtaposition of being this masculine presenting person, and then just singing about feelings and talking about a woman, talking about a love for woman. I feel like I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm excited about it. I don't know about you guys, but it's dropping on Friday, and this is not promo at all. This is just me being a fan of just another queer artist. So I'm excited for that. Number two, I saw somewhere, whether it was on Twitter or TikTok, maybe it was Twitter, that Young M.A is also coming back into the music scene. The last time I heard from Young M.A was when she was sick, and she released that one song, and then her ex, released a couple of videos because when she was sick, and it was it was like a hoo-ha on the internet about her being sick. Excuse me. So yeah, I'm excited to see her back on the rap scene. I don't know if she can ever top Ooh. How do you say that song? Ooh, ooh. Like, nothing is as legendary as that song. Like, it'll get anybody out their seats. So I don't know, Young M.A. I don't know. We'll see what she has in store. But I'm excited to see her come back. And like I'm saying, like it's very typical to see masculine presenting people in the rap scene. The hard stuff, talking about the bitches and whatnot. So this is why, in contrast to K1, I'm excited to see her, because it's such a masculine but feminine thing to do. You understand? Apekaya masculine but feminine at the same time. So I guess that's why I'm excited for it. So that's generally what's been happening on the queer TL. My friends call me a TL queer, and I always say, guys, I'm not a TL queer. I just create YouTube videos, and I happen to be reading the newspapers, the queer newspapers. But anyway, so they'll be laughing probably when they watch this. But all that to say that I think that's about it in terms of queer news in the streets. I don't know if you guys are over Tatiana and Prince breaking up. I know they were the queer beloved couple. But I was also very surprised to see that a lot of people were not not sad. They were not sad about their breakup. And I don't know what that was about. I'll reserve my 2 cents for it in another video. But what I have been seeing, and who I do follow, is Prince on my Instagram, and sometimes she'll pop up on my TikTok as well. And she has been wilding, and it got me thinking, guys. It got me thinking. And I don't know whether this is because I'm masculine presenting and therefore I have a bias about this, but it seems like Elise, really masculine presenting person or masculine presenting woman, aliviwa. Feminine presenting women always want to take the microphone. It's always the masculine presenting woman that's in the wrong. So I felt as though when they broke up, the backlash was a lot on Prince. And I don't know whether that's because she was older and therefore had more responsibility in terms of the relationship, or the fact that she was masculine presenting. Like, people are not giving her a day of what's the word? People aren't giving her the microphone to talk. Or I don't know, maybe I do have a bias. I do think I have a bias, because I do deep down in my heart feel like, sometimes when breakups happen, the masses are always going to assume that the Masc is in the wrong. She cheated. Like, the PR from Masc is so bad that even if you want to say anything, we have valua. I think it's just bad. I don't like it. I don't like that. And I don't know if the fact that, Prince is getting all this backlash is because she's masculine presenting. It could be with the fact that she's older and she had responsibility, or people are putting the onus on her to have sorted this thing out or to have known better. Yabo. So andiazi. But I don't know, what do you guys think about that in the comment section? Do you think, because I also saw this with with what's our lovely couple here in South Africa, Latoya and her person, where she was also wilding out. Fuck, I forgot her name now. Latoya's partner, what's her name? I'm sorry to that woman. I forgot her name. But she was also wilding out on the internet, and it felt like, nah, people were not giving the time of day. And I was like, how, guys? She's just a woman wilding out. She's crashing out on the internet. Why don't you guys let her be? But it seems like Abantu don't really want to listen to masculine presenting women complain on the internet as much as maybe they'd let a feminine presenting person, while out on the internet. I don't know. I am just making my own assumptions, and probably part of me is maybe projecting a little bit, because when I was, on this very same internet and I used to post my person and we broke up, a lot of people assumed that acrimony. And I found myself a lot of the times feeling like I want to share my side of the story. But I guess eventually I didn't. And I just preserved it and I saved my side of the story for my therapist and my friends. And I just accepted Uguti. What society is going to believe what they want to believe. People are going to believe what they want to believe. But it's just important for me, myself, and I, and my community, and my therapist to know the truth. But I will say I was not wrong, acrimony. So, with that being said, let's go into today's topic. I will say that in terms of today's topic, like I said earlier, I was thinking about pride, and I was thinking, what is it that I'd say I'm proud of this Pride Month? And one of the topics that came to my mind was my relationship with my body and how far I've come with that chat. This conversation or this discussion particularly was sparked by a podcast I was watching, Ulanzi no ZX Online, while I was washing dishes and I was cleaning up. They were talking about their relationship with their bodies, and I was like, actually, I have 2 cents to share about this topic. Particularly because I'm masculine presenting, and I do know that within the queer community, for us, the conversation about body dysmorphia and just body in general goes beyond goes beyond the weight gain, being fat or thin, or being conventionally this or that. It goes into conversations about binary and gender identity, transness, and that gender identity. So I thought, let me sit down here and let and talk about, my experience of it. I do think, as I'm exploring the conversation with myself, that I do need to have this conversation with somebody who identifies outside of the binary, as well as maybe outside of just my own lived experience, because I don't think mine... Okay, maybe let me not minimize my experience. I'll share my experience, because my experience is valid, but I do think in order for us to have a nice, broader discussion, I need somebody else. So I will admit that I do want to have this conversation with somebody else, but I think do use the comment section as a discussion point for us, sabelane and stuff like that. So when it comes to my body, I want to take it back to when I grew up and the environment in which I grew up and what the conversations were with the women that have raised me to believe what I believe and to get me basically the timeline. Let's take it back in time. So for me, back in the days, in my primary school years, I can't sit here and say I remember a time where I felt like I had a relationship with my body that was I couldn't do off at all. When I was younger, I enjoyed being a girl. I enjoyed wearing dresses. I enjoyed the body that I was in. I enjoyed just being a child. I don't remember feeling a way about my body. I would xa sidlala uskipping engceni phandle neetshomi zam ndandithatha isiketi sam ndisifaka apha epeyintini ndidlala uskipping. I would also play cars with the boys and wear my shorts and be dusty and muddy and all that stuff. So I've always just enjoyed the movement of my body and the body that I'm in. So those are my primary school years. Can't say anything bad about them. I won't lie. Then came puberty. Puberty was a shocker to me because once puberty came, for me, the biggest growth difference during puberty were my hips. I've got very wide they used to call them childbearing hips. In fact, my mom used to say, "Yo, Pumelela, hips zako ufuze utabawo wako." Now, this is now utabawo from my mom's side. Yes, ufuze utabawo wako. In fact, I don't utabawo kama mama wam who had big hips. She was like, "Hey, ufuze utabawo yazi wena." Yo, as hips was like continental pillow. And if you can imagine a continental pillow when you hold it and it's like shape of a diamond, you can imagine those hips. That was what my mom used to say about my hips. She used to tease me about my hips. And for the longest time, like, I did not like them. I was just like, yo, I'm not this funny hipsy. But at the same time, I also kind of remember when I was going through puberty, a lot of my family was like, yo, your body is tea, bro. Like, you've got the perfect body, you got the booty, you got the hips, you got the nice tits. Like, I was getting affirmed by most of the women in my family. So I felt like, okay, I got something, and I'm working with something. I was even encouraged to model as well. My height was also good for modeling. So I was always encouraged, just model, be in front of the camera. I guess maybe that's why I like YouTube and talking and stuff like that. But anyway, so I was just pumped by my family, but so I've always had this hourglass figure that I've loved. I've really enjoyed that body during puberty, except for the one or two comments from my mom, who used to tell me that I have hips and they look like a continental pillow. But I won't say I deeped that too much. I didn't deep it too much, but it did kind of fuck me up. Later on, when I now came into being and came into myself, and I came into my identity sort of as a masculine presenting woman. And I remember around when I was 17, 18, that was around like 2010, 2011. Facebook just came into the market and it was a thing. And I remember, in trying to discover who I am and, having those conversations, I used to obviously now stalk lesbian pages, lesbians. And then all of these American pages would come up and I'd, go into this like rabbit hole of, queer. I just wanted to go into a queer world. And then I used to stalk particularly lesbian studs. So like these American studs, that wear straight caps and were very sporty. They used to wear the straight caps. They had like lots of tattoos. They used to wear like the Jordans. So that I know, the very American looking typical stud aesthetic. That's what I wanted to be. And I was like, all of these lesbians don't have any hips. Oh my God, what am I going to do with my hips? Maybe I need to lose weight. So the conversations about weight, because I just could not identify with being curvy and being masculine at the same time. I was like, so as I'm trying to piece together who I am and who I want to be, I'm just like looking at these people on the internet. I'm like, they don't look like me. Fuck, what am I going to do, kind of a thing. So in identifying and trying to relate to something, I never really found that thing on the internet, because I was like, yeah, I want to be masculine presenting, but I definitely want people to know that I'm still a woman. Yes, I want to look, in fact, more particularly, when I used to watch High School Musical, I saw Corbin Blue there, and I was like, yeah, that's what I want to look like, but I want people to know that I'm a girl, you know what I mean? Because I really did deep down inside identify with the woman in me. So I searched and I searched and I searched, and I think eventually that's why I came into the identity of being the masculine queen. Somebody who's masculine but feminine at the same time. Somebody who identifies so much with their feminine side, both in the physical attributes and internally, but also masculine in how I move and in how I want to protect and how I want to lead and how I want to dress. So there's always kind of been a duality of both for me that resonates. So when I was looking through all of these things on Facebook, I could take some things, but I left some things to them. I was like, the toughness and the herness of it, but I do like the masculine aspect of it. And I remember seeing them very muscular with the broad shoulders, with no hips. And I was like, nah, that's how I want to be. So, as I transformed and as I discovered myself, I then came across fashion. So I was like, okay, I've got hips. This is the body that I was born in. I've just got to accept it. In the feminine side of things, it's widely accepted, but I don't really completely identify as this feminine presenting being. I also identify with this masculinity in me. So that's when I kind of discovered and where sort of fashion and the love for fashion came into be. I discovered that I could just change the shape of my body by simply dressing a certain way. So I saw that, okay, I'm pear-shaped, sharp. How do I hide the pear right here? What clothes can I wear that balance off the hips? But at the same time, I don't want people to misgender me. I don't want people to think that I'm not a girl. So I found a way that balances, my body really well through trial and error, through trying this and that. I found a balance. So now when I dress, I make sure that if I'm wearing tight pants, I'll wear a baggier top, just to make the silhouette look a bit more balanced and a bit more masculine. If I'm wearing something loose at the top, I'll wear something a bit tighter on top, just to show a bit of my femininity. So that's what kind of led me to the love for fashion and the fact that I can manipulate how I look in the body that I'm in. And then I think fast forward then to the now, to the present, to the woman that I am today. And currently, actually, what I'm going through is that I've gained weight. And to be honest with you, it takes me back when I was, going through puberty and feeling like I can't be masculine and curvy at the same time. I have to be lean. I have to have broad shoulders. And that's, I will admit to myself, a very vain part of me that exists, a very vain part of me that operates, I guess, a little bit from my ego as well, that wants to look good for the baddies, that wants to look good so that I'm seen by women, so that they validate me and say, yeah, oh, hot. There is an aspect of me that is like that. But at the same time, there is also deep down an aspect of me that just wants to align how I feel in terms of my masculinity with how I look. So right now I'm in a phase where I'm trying to broaden my shoulders. I'm in the gym every day. Yes, it's for my mental health, but mostly for the fact that I want the masculinity in me to be expressed in the body. I want to be strong. I want to have broader shoulders. I want to be chiseled. I want to have, thinner thighs, not these fat ass thighs, So that's what I'm working on currently and where I am in terms of the relationship that I have with my body. Yes, I'm feminine and I love the hips that I have, but I also want to express the masculine side of me through being strong, through having broader shoulders, etc. Then I come to the discussion around transness and non-binariness, because over the years I've seen some lesbian people who identified previously as lesbian masculine presenting women who've now transitioned or who now probably identify as they them non-binary people. And I look at them and I'm like, Push, what is it about yourself that you feel like you don't identify with it? I've questioned my gender as well. I'm like, do I identify as trans? And I'm like, nah, I don't feel trans. I don't feel like a man. I when I look at and This is, and I don't think I have the language for it yet, and you'll help me in the comment section. When I look at my titty, I'm like, Galtan el Bele. Like, I identify with el Bele, and I can't imagine chopping it off. I can't imagine wearing a binder. I love the fact that my titties are this small, and maybe if my titties were bigger, I would have a different conversation. I don't know, but this is my only experience, right? So I identify with the female parts of my body, and I love those, and that's where I take the conversation for me, for where I fit in the binaries, where I say, okay, no, this is gender for sure, this is gender for sure. And then when I take the conversation to transness, when I take the conversation to non-binariness, I'm like, do I not feel like a gender? No, I do feel like a woman. I like femininity, but I also like masculinity. I never want the masculinity in me to be left behind, so I always take it with me. So maybe, I don't know, does that make me non-binary because I resonate with both? I don't know. I don't know whether it's also maybe a conditioning, growing up, having all of these women around me tell me, oh my God, you have a beautiful body, beautiful female body, I don't know, but where I am currently, I love my body. I absolutely love everything about it. Maybe I'd laser the scar, maybe get cellulite off here and there, but I love my body, and I love the fact that I'm able to manipulate it through fashion. I've been having this relationship with my body, but in the core of who I am and who I feel that I am, I've really just worked on, loving the body that I am in. And yes, maybe my story doesn't sound too tragic, too traumatic, and the relationship with my body, I will say, has generally been okay. But there have been those moments where I just feel like, man. And I currently am fighting through those thoughts currently. I've gained some weight. I fell in love and I gained some weight. And I'm not in the shape that I know that I love myself to be, or I'm not in my healthy range. And I question myself, and I'm like, I don't really feel as masculine when I'm curvy. And I know this is it's a hot topic, it's a hot one. And not to say that, masculine women that are curvier than me, that are curvier are not masculine, but for me, that's just not what and maybe this is a toxic thing, or I don't know, it's a vain thing, but I'm struggling through those thoughts of feeling masculine enough, because I'm just like, nah, I don't feel masculine enough when I'm curvy. I want to feel masculine. I want to feel chiseled. I want to feel like I have broad shoulders and I'm lean and I'm healthy. So I've been fighting through those thoughts, I'm not going to lie, because of this weight gain. I'm trying to have a very good internal relationship in terms of the way that I speak to myself, because I do know that the way you speak is the way that you are going to be. So if you speak about your body and that you don't like it and you hate it, you are going to starve yourself. You are going to be doing and going into great measures to get the body that you want. Whereas if you speak greatly of your body, and I try to do this every day, so when I lather my body, I sit and I stand in front of the mirror. Even I say this internally to myself as I'm lathering my body. I'm like, oh, I love your thighs, I love this. In the beginning, it doesn't work, guys. In the beginning, it doesn't work. You like yahlanya or whatever. But the more you do it, the more repetitively you do it, the more repetition you do it, you will start to internalize it and start feeling it, and then in turn you will behave like you like your body. You will feed it good things. You will drink the water. Let me drink water. You will drink the water. You will run the marathons. You will start to have a great relationship with yourself, with your body, because you're speaking to your body with love and with care. So that's where I am currently. I'm trying to mend the relationship in terms of weight, especially because I have it in my head that I'm not masculine enough if I'm curvy. I need to be chiseled. I need to be, And I'm not coming on this internet to say do I want to change that? Maybe it's a point of view that I need to change, but I kind of don't want to change it. I'm not going to lie. And I know, again, like I said, maybe a part of that is vain. I will admit to that it is something that is about external validation. But I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that because I know that it's not only external validation to me that matters. Internal validation matters to me even more. So because I have that on lock and I have that relationship with my body on lock, I'm okay to be like, oh, you can be a bit vain about this, and maybe I'm being too tough on myself, because at the same time, being chiseled and being muscular and being a little bit more masculine in how I present outwardly also is about having an aspect of an internal masculinity agree with it externally. So it isn't completely vain when I deep it like that. I know that why I want to look a certain way is because I want to externally match what I feel internally. So I will allow myself that grace, where whether, some people feel like it's a vain thing to do or to say or to believe about your body, but that's just me. And that does not take away, and that does not invalidate curvy masculine woman. That identity is as valid as mine is. So yeah, man, that's been the relationship that I'm in currently. I'm trying to lose 5 kilograms, and I'm trying to get broader shoulders. My upper body has always been small. Like I did say, I have had always a pear-shaped body, but I'm really trying to get my upper body strength up. My baby said she saw my shoulders the other day. I was like, delicious. The right people are seeing the changes. You know what I mean? So that was very validating that, people can see the shoulder to cry on. The shoulder to cry on is getting broader. Yeah. So I like that. I like that a lot. So last but not least, in the bedroom. I don't know what the relationship is with you guys, but for me, in the bedroom, I've never, because there are people who identify as touch me not. Now, if you don't know what a touch me not, actually, I don't know why you're watching this channel, because you should know what a touch me not. But basically, it's a woman who identifies usually as a masculine presenting person or woman, but in the bedroom they don't like receiving pleasure. They'd rather give pleasure, and usually in the bedroom they'll always be, not always, but sometimes, mostly clothes. They'll wear their sports bra. They're not trying to take off their clothes, because taking off their clothes then kind of leaves them naked in this female body that they may not identify with. And so then I wonder, to those women who identify that way, because there's like broader conversation now about transness. Maybe are you trans or you whatnot, but in terms of my own relationship in the bedroom, because I've always identified with being a woman, and I love other women and do the deed with other women, I've never been shy in terms of taking off my clothes and just being naked in the bedroom, because I'm like, ndimlona kind of a thing. I don't know whether that is because I was affirmed by the woman in my community, and therefore I don't really feel like, my body's kinda wrong, or I feel a way about my body. But one thing I will say I've been shy about is expressing my more feminine desires in the bedroom, but it hasn't really been tied to my body image, really. Like when I think about it, I'm like, I don't really remember having an experience or a sexual experience where I'm like, I don't want to take off my clothes because it then reveals too much of my femininity. Because that part of me resonates so well with me, I'm like, bitch, I'm trying to take it off right now. I need you to suck my titty, kind of a thing. So I've never really been shy. And this is why I'm saying maybe my POV and my story, as valid as it isn't as niched and nuanced and complex as other queer people that I know is, like in the bedroom, girl, you can do anything, and my body does not limit me in any way in terms of what I want to do. And I know for other masculine presenting people, it does, you know. I want to, deep down in me, please, in the comment section, if you're like a touch me not, or you used to be a touch me not, please tell me what is it about not being touched or not receiving pleasure that invalidates your masculinity. And then how does that then relate to the binary? Do you still identify as a woman? As a cisgender woman? Like, I don't know. So yeah, those are my many thoughts on my relationship on body image as a queer person. And I think in summary, like I said in the beginning, I think it's one of the things I'm proud of. I have a really good, healthy relationship with my body. And again, I think most of it comes from the fact that I was affirmed at a young age. But, you know, as I developed, I didn't see how it resonated with my masculine identity. And then through fashion, I found a way that it can balance and resonate with my masculine identity. And then where I am now is that I'm in the gym because I want my internal masculinity to agree externally. And just to always have then that balance, you know. Yes, ndaba ne broad shoulders, but so when ibele uthi ooh like girly feet, yabo. So it's like the duality of it all. And then, am I non-binary? Does that make me non-binary? I don't know. It's an ongoing discussion with myself. It's a journey of self-discovery. That's what I love about being queer. We are not limited to what straight society says. We always discover, and I always say to myself, you know, being queer has probably saved me. It has saved me from living under the rules of heteronormativities, because they are suffering. They are always debating on Twitter every other day about rules that they too cannot keep up with. So I like the fact that being queer just makes me make up my own rules and identify as my own person. But anyway, it's been a long night. I still need to edit this and drop this tomorrow. So let me not chat too long. I'm excited for the content that I'm going to be shooting in the next coming weeks. It is Pride Month after all. Watch a queer video. Watch a queer person's video. And yeah, man, I'll see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And yeah, man, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace, mwah, in the Middle East.